Oh, this thing on, guys? It's been what? It's been almost 2 years now since I last uploaded a YouTube vlog. I thought today might be the day to do a new one because the property that we filmed in a previous video at acquisition, we're selling that property today. So we purchased that property in June of 2019 for $4.2 million, and we will be selling it today, which is May 5th, for $6 million. So that is a $1.8 million gain for myself as well as our investors on this deal. And for me personally, had a lot of changes. We have a new baby here. As you can see, I'm no longer in a closet. I have I have my own office, and as well, we've really trimmed down our team and focused on what our business does best, which is acquire apartments in the Houston area, and then we manage those apartments for ourselves and other owners. So when we last spoke, I was adding 52 doors, which was going to bring me to, I believe, around 120 doors. And today we've acquired a new, much larger complex, 145 unit, as well as other owner properties, and we are now up to 425 doors, making us one of the middle tier property management companies in the Houston area. Focus down, it's just right now our team consists of myself, our head of property management. We have some maintenance folks as well, and then our on-site office team at some of these complexes. And so through that, we've been able to kind of really focus and grow our business and continue to buy great apartment deals. The deal we purchased in December of 2020, which was the 145 unit, that apartment complex we acquired for $9 million. And I received a broker inquiry last week, seeing if we'd be interested in selling at around $13 million. So another good purchase there. And for us, by staying abreast of what's going on in the city of Houston, we've been able to find better than market deals, add value to those deals, and then increase the rents, which increases the value. And back to today, the apartment we're selling already had some fireworks. There's always something. We had actually, our management entity had not received, or it was lost in the mail, the web file number for our franchise taxes. And so because of that, we had to scramble to get that information. I thought I was going to be driving to Austin today to actually go to the comptroller within the city. But luckily our attorney pulled some miracle work, finagled someone on the phone, and was able to get those emailed to us. So hopefully we're all good now. I'm going to sign, and we'll keep you updated. All right, guys. I'm here at Chicago Title in Greenway Plaza, going to sign the documents for the sale, and we're going to chat later about controlling the things that you can control. Obviously, with COVID, there was quite a few challenges, and as well with kind of the way the deal happened and the deal was structured, it seemed on the surface that there wouldn't be a lot that we could do to influence price. And that ended up not being the case, and it was a substantial win for our team. And so I want to review that with you to kind of show you that, you have the opportunity to always influence the final outcome. So I'm going to take the camera inside. Maybe I can film, maybe I can't. And we'll catch up hopefully inside. Okay, guys, as you can see, the docs are here. Several hundred pages. As you can see, these docs are no laughing matter. So Definitely important to get here early, because until those are signed, the wires can't come. Let's see if we can. There you go. Okay, guys, we have signed. We have until about 2 p.m. and it is 10:25 or so to get the money over to the lender to pay off the note. I always like to sign for properties really at the earliest I can. I was supposed to be here at 9. I got here a little later just due to the fact that we were trying to get a franchise tax problem solved. We were not able to get the web file number, and we had to kind of jump through a bunch of hoops, and luckily, like I had said, we found someone in the state, got that signed. And then also we're doing a 1031, and as part of the 1031 exchange, some of the members within the LLC wanted to take their funds out. And because they wanted to take their funds out, we had to do something called PIN notes, and that takes time and has additional fees associated with it. And so we had to get all that paperwork taken care of as well. And the 1031 paperwork tends to butt up right against the closing date, because a lot of the payouts for the owners that are getting out, those have to kind of be estimated ahead of time, and the only way you can do that is having a relatively final closing statement. So closings are always hectic, but we got it done, and hopefully will fund either the whole deal or just definitely pay off the note today. Worst case scenario, we'd have to pay another day's worth of interest. It's not the end of the world. That's also why you don't want to have closings on Fridays, because if there's some sort of issue, you have to then wait till Monday. Okay, so the thing that I wanted to talk to you about that I kind of alluded to is, in life, in real estate, you're going to have situations that appear you have no influence over the outcome. We purchased the property in June of 2019, and the city of Houston actually approached us in August of 2019 and said, hey, we want to purchase the property. We said, does this mean eminent domain, like you're going to take it over? And they said, no, it's just an optional thing, and it's based on what the property appraises for. Now, based on our cash flows and what the market was doing, the property was probably worth around $5 million, and we had paid about 4.2 for it. Now, our plan was a long-term hold to take advantage of the appreciation going on in the Third Ward market and going on in the medical center area. We were not able to, take full advantage of that because it had been just a few months. And so, our exit price was estimated to be $6 or $7 million over a 7-year time frame, and our investor expected returns were between 16 and 18%. And so, had we just gone with the appraiser and not done anything, we probably would have come back with a pretty low evaluation. But what I did is I hired a brokerage firm, Walker Dunlop, who is a very large broker in Houston. They have relationships with appraisers in the Houston area, and they really know how to maximize the appraised value of a property. And the only thing that was holding us back from a higher evaluation was the appraisal. And so we did the appraisal. We got a very favorable appraisal. It came back
at, I believe it was between 5.6 and 5.8 million. As part of the city deal, they weren't able to disclose the exact amount. And I developed a really good relationship with our contact at the city, and she explained to me that we might be able to get that price higher and we should counteroffer and negotiate. So we did that. We came back with a price of $6 million. The city agreed to that deal, and in addition to that, the original requirements from the city were that when they close on the property needs to be completely vacant. That is a very substantial amount of risk, because every day that the property wouldn't have closed means that we are essentially floating the note on the property and paying for it out of pocket. So we don't want to do that, obviously. If we pay out of pocket, then our investors continue to lose money, or worst case scenario, they even have to put in money into the deal. So we hired an attorney that had worked with the city numerous times, and they actually helped us get that changed to we would actually be allowed to have the property completely full and have 12 months, i.e. the lease expiration, to let the tenants leave. And as part of that deal, the city said, hey, we don't manage property. And we said, well, we manage property. And they were like, well, what do you guys want to be paid to manage the property? And so, I was like, well, what would you guys pay? And they were like, well, name a price. And so, long story short, over a little back and forth, we got an additional $50,000 to our property management company to manage that property for another year, which is a very substantial source of income for our property management company. And it also just ensures that there's no complications for any of the tenants. They're familiar with our staff and how we run our business. We don't have to change over to a new property management system. And then the city doesn't have to deal with any of the issues that they're not necessarily staffed for. And so COVID happened. And when COVID happened, obviously kind of the world came to a standstill. We were originally supposed to close between November of 2020 and February of 2021. That was our original target window. And we went to the city and said, hey, what's going on? They were like, we're not sure. The money that we were going to use to pay for your property may end up being used for COVID resources. And this was in February, is when we kind of signed our initial agreement with the city, February 2020. And I think they started saying this around May or June. And our original plan with the property was to refinance in June of 2020, 12 months after we closed. The debt markets really froze in the Houston area and nationally, really, from between February and July of 2020. And then any deals that were done really up until November of 2020 in the Houston area had very large COVID reserves, which obviously dramatically reduce the cash flow that's available to owners, because the money that would be going to pay back investors and owners on the property is instead being held in a reserve account to reduce the lending risk due to COVID-19. And as the months went on, it was a lot of, I don't know. It was a lot of, hey, this deal doesn't look like it's going to happen. And then 3 weeks later, they were like, hey, we think we might be able to get the deal done. And as the manager of the property, I had to make tough choices on, do I try to go with the refinance in a market that was not advantageous, or do I instead try to wait out the city? And we were supposed to have an update in August, September, October, November, and not December. They knew that they weren't going to meet in December, and then January. And so as we kept missing these deadlines, obviously the risk of the deal getting done became higher and higher. And so I had a deadline that I'd set with my investors of hey, if we don't hear by the end of February if this deal is going to go through or not, our original close date, then I was going to begin the refinance process in parallel and potentially cost the investors, should the city deal go through, $100,000 or so. We actually got notified on February 5th that the city had approved the deal and that we were greenlit to move forward. And they said, hey, it's going to take us about 6 months to 8 months to get this thing done. So the earliest you're looking at a close is June of 2020. The latest would be, June of 2021. The latest would be August of 2021. And I was like, well, there's nothing we can do. We still can't refinance. That's unfortunate. And then in an amazing, lucky turn of events, while the city was approved to make the purchase, the funds that were available expired in June 1st of 2021. And so that means the city had to close faster than that. And the city said, hey, can you guys close on May 12th? And we said, sure, we'll close on May 12th. And then 2 weeks later, they said, can you close on May 5th? And we said, yes, that would be excellent. I think the lesson there is at every moment that you're doing a deal, your plan could change, the environment can change, the world could shut down, but you have to take everything as it comes and then make the best decision in the moment. I could have freaked out, thrown my hands up and said, you know what, I'm just going to refinance. This is too much stress. I don't like being in this gray area and not knowing what's going on. But instead what I did is I was always working on a plan B while still encouraging and pushing forward plan A, because I knew if we could get investors, a substantial return in a 1.5 year period. So to give an example, the year-over-year internal rate of return is going to be roughly about 23% for investors. So that means they made 23% on their initial investment in year one, and then another 23% on those proceeds in year two. Had I instead just said, hey, let's just refinance, then, their return, given that 2020 we were not able to refinance, would have probably dipped to 14% or so, which is still solid, still better than you can expect in general from the stock market or with alternative investments. But to be able to almost double that and return investors 50% on their money in about a 1.5 year time frame is obviously a much better outcome. And especially in the environment that we're in right now, real estate's just one of the best asset classes. We've printed more money as a country in 2020 than all other years that the U.S. has existed combined. So obviously that's a pretty strong sign that down the road we're going to see some type of inflation. And if we see inflation, because you can take out debt, usually between 70 and 80% of the purchase price of a property, as inflation happens, that debt becomes less and less valuable over time. While at the same time, the asset price or what someone would pay for your apartment complex goes up and up over time. And so now's really one of the best times to be in real estate as an inflationary hedge. And I recommend to all of our investors, and I recommend it to you as well as the viewer, is that you really want to have, at a minimum, 15%, but a pretty healthy amount would be 20 to 25% of your investable net worth. So that would be your investments outside of your personal residence and, what you need for your family in real estate related assets, just because it does a good job of hedging against some of the fluctuations that can occur in the stock market. And also, we're in an environment with extremely low interest rates. And so because of that, it's a great time to get into real estate. And we're seeing more and more people interested in finding deals to invest in. And the number one thing I can recommend is finding someone that you trust, that has really your best interest in mind, and really understands their market. There's a lot of guys doing a lot of digital marketing and advertising, and if you're finding that someone's constantly advertising for money, that's generally a pretty good sign that they're not finding very good deals. Because if you find deals that are better than market, better than average, it's very easy to raise. I have never once asked anyone in a public forum for any money for our real estate deals, and I have people on every single transaction that I do that I have to turn away because they just the deals fill up quick. Our $9 million deal in December, we had that fully funded or committed to be funded within 2 weeks. And again, people that know the market know, hey, you're buying something for 9 that's worth at least 13. And if you can continuously find those type of opportunities and have the exits that are much better than market, like what we had today, then it's very easy to find investors, and it's not the focus of what I do. We spend the majority of our time finding deals that meet our criteria and ensure that our investors are getting a better than market return. And we also run all of our deals and manage all of our deals, which means that we don't make excuses within our group around how the property performs. If it doesn't perform well, that's on us. And I think it's a little bit different way to do a business model, but I also think it leads to these kind of home run outcomes that you can have when you're abreast of kind of what's going on in the market and really understand it. So I'm going to work a little bit. We're looking at some 1031 opportunities, and hopefully things go smoothly the rest of the way. If not, then I'll get back on the camera and kind of explain what's going on. Yeah, it's been an exciting day, and let me know if you like the vlog, and we'll maybe continue this and pick it back up again, because I've missed making them. So appreciate all the support and the folks that have reached out to me in the past and said, hey, when are you going to get on and do a vlog again? And I thought maybe today's the day. So we will talk to you soon.